Hey guys, this week I'm going to show you how I made this pallet buster. Stick around. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BS with AJ. As I said before, this week I'm going to be showing you how I made this pallet buster. Now if you do a lot of pallet projects, this is a must-have because it makes tearing pallets apart really fast and really easy. Now you can buy them online and everything, but I just took some scrap metal and kind of threw this one together. Now you'll see that I've had certain sizes of metal. You don't have to have those particular sizes. That's just the scrap metal that I came up with. Now I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos each week. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so this week's project, we're going to be making a pallet buster. Now this is just the scrap that I came up with. You don't have to have this specific size of anything, but I have two pieces of 2x2 angle. They're about 11 inches long each. And I have two pieces of 1.5 inch square tubing. This one's about 9 inches long and this one's about 52 inches long. So what I figured, I'd take these three pieces here and make the head of it, and then I could use this long 52-inch piece for our handle to actually make sure you get plenty of leverage on it when you go to break your boards apart. So let's go ahead and get started now. Alright, so to get started, I've got a 4-inch gap between these two angles on the inside part of this. Now the reason I've got that is just because if I come across a bigger pallet that's held together with 4x4s or something, I don't have to build another pallet buster or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and make this extra wide just to be sure. So for this to be 4 inches, the inside between here is about 7.5. So the first thing we're going to do is take this piece and cut it down to 7.5 inches long. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and cut both of our angles down to 7 inches long. Alright, now that we have our pieces all cut down to the size we want, we're going to go ahead and make this square tubing flush with the back of our angles here. And then we're going to make a mark right here on both sides. Now that we've made that mark, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut a straight line from the top down here, and we're going to leave about 1/4 inch of this left. Now the reason we're cutting it down is because 2 inches, that's not going to fit inside or in between the slats of a pallet. So we need to make sure that it's down lower, but I want to make sure and keep a little extra strength from this leg that we have here. So that's why I'm leaving about 1/4 inch left. That way it'll still fit between the slats, no problem, and it'll still have a little more strength. And we're leaving this tab back here to weld this all together to make sure it has plenty of strength whenever you go to pry it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, now that we have all those cut off, what we're going to do now is go ahead and take a sanding wheel or flapper wheel, whichever you prefer to call it. We're going to go ahead and sand down all the spots we just cut off to get rid of all the sharp edges. And we're also going to prep all this up here to be welded together. Alright, now we're going to take our sanding wheel, kind of go over it real quick, get off some of the splatter that we have here and there, and we're going to go ahead and take off the rest of the paint that's on the top here so we can attach the handle. Alright, so now we're going to work on our handle. So instead of putting this at a 90-degree angle, we're going to put this on a 45 to make sure you have just a little bit more leverage whenever you go to pry those pallets apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this compound square here. This back edge is actually a 45-degree angle. So we're going to line it up with the very edge here, make a mark on this side, and do the same thing right here. Now we're going to do this on two opposite sides here. We'll go ahead and cut that piece out of both sides, and then we'll be able to set that in there at a 45-degree angle and tack weld it and then weld it solid. Alright guys, now that we have it all welded up and ready to go, let's go ahead and try it out. It seems to be working fairly well, so let's go ahead and finish tearing this pallet apart. Alright, so as you can see, it didn't take very long to tear that pallet apart. And there was actually more slats on that one than the previous ones that I've tore apart, and they were a lot closer together. So this method works really well, and I think I got it done in less than about 8 minutes or so, somewhere close to that. And as you can see, I only had one board that broke, and it wasn't even all that bad. So that's just probably a bad board, so that's no problem. And all we have left to do now is to go ahead and drive all these nails out from the back side. That won't take too long to do. Another advantage to this method is that all the support bar, or the support pieces here, all the nails are out of them already. So these are ready to use, as opposed to the old method I used before, where, as you can see here, it's still got a bunch of nails sticking out of here. That's because I was prying it apart with a couple of hammers or a pry bar and things like that, and it's not as effective that way. So As you can see, this is a lot more effective way to tear pallets apart. It's really quick, it's really easy, and pretty much anybody can do it. Hey guys, well here's our final product. As you can see, I went ahead and painted it yellow, and that's mainly because the handle was yellow, so it just made it a lot easier, of course. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger, better projects for you guys. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos each week. And if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down in the comment section below. I'll see you next week.